Amina sat on a wooden stool outside Nana's hut, feeling the warmth of the rising sun on her face. Nana pressed a damp cloth over her eyes as usual. The coolness made Amina shiver slightly, but when Nana pulled the cloth away, Amina gasped. A flicker. A shadow. A blur of something bright. Her heart pounded. "Nana," she whispered. I see something." Nana didn't answer right away. Instead, she cupped Amina's face in her rough hands. "What do you see, child?" she asked softly. Amina struggled to explain. It wasn't clear, just flashes of light, a faint difference between day and night. But it was something. Nana smiled. "Then we must keep going." Amina's chest swelled with hope. Meanwhile, in the village, Miriam's life had not become easier. Though no one spoke of it directly, the whispers followed her wherever she went. They knew Amina was gone. They did not know how or why, but they knew. Miriam pretended not to hear them. She worked harder. She kept her head down. She told herself she had done the right thing. But every night, when she lay on her mat, she saw Amina's face in her mind. She heard her laughter. She felt her small hands reaching for her, and sometimes, in the middle of the night, she found herself staring at the doorway, half expecting her daughter to walk in, smiling, calling her name, but Amina never came. And Miriam's guilt only grew heavier. For the first time in her life, she truly believed that one day, she might see the world. Months passed, and Amina's vision slowly improved. She could now tell the difference between night and day. Then, she began to see shapes, blurry at first, but growing clearer. One evening, as the sun dipped low in the sky, Nana led Amina to the riverbank. The air was cool, and the water shimmered under the golden light. Nana placed her hands gently on Amina's shoulders. "Open your eyes," she whispered. Amina obeyed, and for the first time in her life, she saw the sunset. It wasn't perfect. It was hazy, the colors blending together like a dream, but it was real. Tears welled in Amina's eyes. "Nana, I can see." Nana let out a soft laugh. "I told you, child. You were not meant to be blind forever." Amina turned to look at Nana. Her face was still a blur, but she could see the outline of her old, wrinkled features. For the first time, she saw the woman who had saved her, and she smiled. Hope had returned. Amina was no longer lost, she was found. What once was a world of darkness became a place of colors, shapes, and beauty. She could see the blue of the sky, the green of the leaves, and the gentle flames of Nana's cooking fire. At first, everything was blurry. But each day, the world became clearer. And the first thing Amina saw fully was Nana. The old woman's face was wrinkled like the bark of an ancient tree. Her eyes were deep and kind, filled with stories and secrets. Amina had never seen her before. But she had always known her. She ran into Nana's arms, tears streaming down her face. "Nana, I see you." Nana chuckled, stroking her hair. "Yes, my child. And now, the world is yours." Amina had never loved anyone the way she loved Nana, the woman who took her in. The woman who healed her, the woman who became her mother. She no longer thought of the village. She no longer thought of Miriam. For Amina, Nana was home. Back in the forest, Amina had become stronger. Her sight had fully returned. She could see everything, the way the river sparkled in the sunlight, the way the wind made the trees dance, the way Nana's smile curved at the edges. She learned how to cook, how to gather herbs, how to listen to the whispers of the trees. She was no longer weak. She was no longer blind. One day, as she sat beside Nana, watching the clouds move across the sky, she asked, "Nana, why did you save me?" The old woman sighed. "Because I, too, was left behind once." Amina's heart ached. She reached for Nana's hand. "I love you, Nana." Nana's eyes softened. "And I love you, my child." Amina had everything she needed. She had sight, she had love. She had a home. But deep inside her heart, a question still lingered. Why had her mother abandoned her? And did she deserve to know the truth? Miriam's suffering did not end. As the whispers in the village grew louder, her late husband's family turned against her completely. She has no child, her brother-in-law declared. She has no heir for my brother's land. She killed him, another said. She brought a curse upon this home. The elders listened. They did not argue. In their eyes, Miriam had no worth, and so, one morning, they came to her doorstep. You must leave, the eldest among them said. You do not belong here anymore. Miriam's breath caught. This is my home. No, a woman's part. Your husband gave you this house. Your daughter would have secured your place. But now, both are gone. Miriam's knees weakened, she had nothing left. They forced her to leave with only the clothes on her back. When she tried to take a cooking pot, they slapped it out of her hands. When she reached for a mat, they shoved her away. This is not yours anymore, they told her. And so, Miriam walked out into the world, homeless, hopeless, broken. She had lost everything. And she had no one to blame but herself. Days passed. Miriam wandered aimlessly, surviving on scraps, sleeping under trees. No one in the village wanted to help her. No one cared. And soon, Miriam realized something terrible. She was alone. Completely and utterly alone. One evening, weak and starving, she found herself standing near the river. The water was deep and dark, whispering to her in the fading light, what was left for her: no family. No home. No future. Maybe if she stepped forward, everything would end. The pain. The regret. The loneliness. Tears streamed down her face. She took a deep breath. And then, stop. A voice, a familiar voice. Miriam froze. She turned slowly, and standing there, with fire in her eyes, was a young girl. A girl she thought was dead. A girl she had left to die. Amina, Miriam whispered, her voice shaking. Amina took a step forward. What are you doing? Miriam couldn't speak. She could only stare. The child she abandoned was standing before her. Alive. Healthy. Beautiful. She looked different now, taller, stronger, no longer weak. And her eyes, they were filled with a power Miriam had never seen before. She could see. She was no longer blind. Miriam collapsed onto her knees, sobbing. This is a dream, she choked. This cannot be real. It is real, Amina said. Miriam reached for her, but Amina did not move closer. I thought you were dead, Miriam cried. I thought I lost you. You did lose me, Amina said coldly. Because you left me. Miriam shook her head violently. No. I didn't. I thought. Amina's face was unreadable. You thought I would die. Miriam sobbed harder. Forgive me, Amina. Please, forgive me. I was wrong. I was afraid. I was weak. Amina was silent for a long time. Then, she spoke. I forgive you. Miriam's head snapped up, her heart pounding. But, Amina continued, her voice steady, I will never stay with you again. Miriam's chest tightened. Amina, please. No, Amina's voice was firm. You made your choice. And I made mine. Miriam let out a broken cry. But I am your mother. Amina shook her head. My mother is the one who saved me. Miriam's mouth opened, but no words came out. Amina turned. Come, she said. And from the shadows, an old woman stepped forward. Nana. Miriam's breath caught in her throat. The old woman's eyes were filled with quiet judgment and understanding. Amina walked to Nana's side and took her hand. This is my mother now, she said softly. Then, without another word, they walked away. leaving Miriam alone. Again, Amina returned to the village with Nana. At first, the people were afraid. They whispered about the old woman from the forest. Some called her a witch. Others thought she was a ghost, but Amina spoke. She told them the truth. How Nana had saved her. How she had healed her eyes. How she had given her a home when her own mother had abandoned her. And slowly, the villagers accepted them. Amina and Nana lived together in a small hut, built by kind hands. Amina no longer felt lost, she was home, and though she forgave Miriam, she never looked back.